Welcome to the Anger Management Podcast. We're back.
Fuck me.
Finally.
Do not adjust your sets.
Finally, Liam, I'm an entire year older than I was last time we were here.
And my children have been born, left, and gone to university.
Yeah,
it's
that's
been
it.
that long.
Yeah, they both graduated now. It's been that long. Now, this is the Anger Management Podcast, Season 3, Episode 4. No, I checked. After last year. After last episode's bullshit of us completely forgetting what episode
it was 3, 5,
yeah,
4.
it is actually episode 4. Season 3, episode 4 of the Anger Management Podcast. Now, we have been away a while. Regular listeners will know that it's been a fucking age since we've been about.
Jesus
but there has
Christ.
been mitigating circumstances.
Oh, of course, yeah.
As we broached upon on the last podcast, episode 3, Liam has had twins.
I have 2 babies.
I've got to be honest with you, mate. When you walked through the door, I thought you'd lost a bit of weight.
Thanks. It's the stress.
The stress and aggro of newborns.
Yes, thank you. No, it's...
Can you remember what sleep is like?
No,
or?
fuck no. You know when people say, oh, sleep deprivation is real? Believe you and me, it is real.
It is real.
It's a real thing, and it drives you insane.
Now, I've got 2 children of my own. I say children. One's 23, so not really a child. Not much younger than you, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, 31.
31. Thanks. Get in there, mate. In there. And my little boy's 11. Now, obviously, there's a 12-year gap between those two. And it's difficult enough when you've got one.
Yeah,
and my daughter obviously helped me to bring up my son because she was 12. Liam, what's it like having 2 of the little whippersnappers
It is the
at
most...
the same time?
It is the most rewarding, loving, scariest...
Pain in the arse.
Stressful.
Awesome.
Yeah, literally that. Literally every possible word you can
We're
describe
at both
it.
ends of the scale describing this, aren't we?
Honestly, and it's not like I'm not sitting here saying, like, oh, I hate it. Like, I absolutely love it, and I would not change it for the world. Like, but, my God, there are days where I could just... pull my hair out. I'm not kidding.
Well,
Andy.
I did want to say the hair looks like it has been pulled out a little bit, mate.
A little bit, mate.
It's a good 3 centimetres further back than last time I saw you.
Again, the stress. Obviously you get celebrities and they're like weight gain, weight loss, all that bollocks. Just have kids.
Yeah.
Just have kids.
There's solutions. I mean, I was a big fan of the falling 70 feet through a roof diet plan. When I was 19. Yeah. I went from 12.5 stone to 6.5 in 3 days.
Wow.
So there are solutions out there for you fat bastards. Definitely. Back to the Anger Management Podcast and political correctness.
I think what's that? Chris Hemsworth has just brought out a new diet routine.
There it is.
Falling through stories. Yeah, there we go. But no, obviously my little boy Zachary and my little girl Serena. Absolutely loved it.
Do you think one day, like when they're adults, they'll be listening to this?
I think they will.
And going, fucking hell.
We're my dad and
what
handsome
a
bastard.
pair of bellends.
Yeah. Oh my
two.
God. So embarrassed.
My dad was all right, but that youth he was with, what an absolute pleb. You know what I mean?
Hey, you might be Uncle Andy by that time. You never know.
Maybe so. I could be dead. But who knows? Who knows, mate?
Always positive, mate. Always positive.
But anyway, you were telling me about your little boy just before we came on air. There were a few problems.
Yes, so we had twins and they were a bit premature, only by a week, but...
Like son, like father.
Hey, ring that bell.
Where is the bell?
It's there, look.
It's knocking about. Oh, hang on, let me get the bell.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I'll tell you the story. Well, Andy gets the bell. Oh, go on, Andy, get it in.
Hang on. Premature. Hey, we're back.
The Anger Management Podcast you know and love. Or tolerate. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah. Don't complain about it, long as you don't report us.
That's it. It's fine. Fucking, you can if you like. I mean, we'll still do it.
As we always say, do you know I've started at my shows recently? I've actually started, at the end of the first song, I actually turn to the crowd and go, this is a politically non-correct show. If any of you are woke or enjoy political correctness, I suggest you fuck off and drink somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you know what? every single time. Everyone cheers.
Everyone just
It
sits
just
still,
goes to show that it's social media, right?
Yep.
That's where all these fucking woke lunatics live, Liam. And in the actual real world, everyone thinks it's a load of bollocks.
You mean we've not been brainwashed by, the woke brigade? But anyway, get to that further on. Sorry, that is a topic later to discuss.
Tangent.
So yeah, obviously we, my children were born a week early, a bit premature. For like father, like son. Very good, Andy. Yeah, top bounce. Gotta get the bell in. Gotta get that bell in. And, it pays for itself. And like I said, we had a bit of problems. They were underweight and everything else like that. And obviously we were a bit concerned, and it was quite stressful. And we were in hospital in a hotel
living it up while the kids were having surgeries
in a hospital room. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean newborns are a bit ill, but we've come out for a romantic break for a couple of nights.
Fucking no chance. Absolutely no chance. You stay away, love. Keep away. Put a rubber on it times 4.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not having kids again.
Ever?
I don't know. Come back in a few years. We'll have this conversation. And so we were in hospital for a week, and they were a bit premature, and they were underweight, and it was scary, man. It's been terrifying being a dad, but again, the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life, and I love it. But at the same time, you never stop stressing. You never stop worrying about your kids.
You don't. But like I say, I've been a parent for 23 years, and you do sort of get used to it a little bit. And in the back of your mind, you're always a little bit like, oh God, I hope Littlin's all right.
Yeah, exactly.
But you sort of have to get to the point where you think, you know what, whatever happens will happen, and I'll do what I can. And give them the best environment to grow up that I can.
And that's
it.
But
even when they're little kids, you've got to let them fall over and bang their heads and puke up and all the rest of it.
The learning development, though, isn't it? Like, we're in the point now where we are, they're learning to self-soothe.
To what?
Self-soothe.
What the flying fuck's that?
Welcome to 2023.
Sounds like, I was going to say, that sounds like 2023 hospital management speak to me, Liam.
That is literally how it is.
Please indulge me.
So, obviously, your children are crying, or you're trying to get them to sleep, and you put them in the cot, and you think, oh, they'll soothe themselves to sleep, they'll suck the thumb, or dummies, or whatever, and they'll go to sleep. Mm-hmm. That is self-soothing. And that's what we have to do now. But for me, as a new parent, my little boy or my little girl starts crying, all I want to do is give him a cuddle and give him a kiss and little things like that.
Well, let me. I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can do that.
I know.
And the shit they tell you from hospitals is just that. It's shit.
Yeah.
It's advice that you really don't have to take, right?
Yeah.
Because honestly, a lot of advice that comes from hospitals is absolute bollocks, right?
Yep.
Some of it's good, some of it's bollocks. I mean, think of all the drugs they tell you take, Half the time they don't fucking do anything except make you worse. And I'm a firm believer, mate, if your kid's crying, pick it up and give it a cuddle. Yeah. Just leave it there screaming.
No, you don't, do you? And they're like crossing your arms stop
fucking soothing.
Stop screaming.
It's self-soothing. It sounds like something you do when you've got a bit of a raw arse from playing too much golf. Self-soothing.
Coming up on Babe Station tonight.
Get the Vaseline out, you know what I mean? I got a bit of GA. Got a bit of golfer's arse. Did I ever tell you? Did I ever tell you about my idea for golfer's arse? By the way,
no. Go on.
Okay, so picture the scene.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I don't know if you've ever played golf. Any listeners who do play golf regularly or do anything like cycling or running, anything that can give you a little bit of
a
chafage around the bollock a-hole groinal area, right? Yeah. So me and my mates always called it GA, which stands for golfer's arse.
Okay.
Right?
I'm with you.
When you play golf, it's maddening, mate, honestly, when you get GA. Because you're walking a lot, you're swinging a lot, right? Yeah. There's sand, there's everything that's sweat. It's grim. It's absolutely grim.
Selling it to
So I always thought that we should come up with a specially formulated cream, right, that you can carry around in your golf bag, right? And liberally apply at the right moment. And I thought what we could have, picture this. Okay.
Oh,
so
God.
it's, like a crane cam or a drone or something coming down. Yeah. Standing on the tee is Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
Okay. Morgan Freeman. He's just taken his tee shot. And you see him just have a little bit of like he's got a little bit of a wedgie going on, right? And then the next thing, it cuts to him again. And he's got the tub in his hand. And in the voice that only Morgan Freeman has got. He turns to the camera, shows you the tub that says GA, and he says, GA for the most important hole in your round. Dude, honestly, it's genius.
It is like disturbing, but I can see it.
You can see it on the tally, can't you? Like when the golf's on the tally and the adverts are on. That's what you've got there. GA for the most important hole in your round. Come on, dude. I mean, that's just wordsmithery genius, that is. But I was thinking of taking it on Dragon's Den. GA.
For your ass.
There you go, for the most important hole in your round. But anyway, that was another mad tangent we just went on.
Yeah. That was a good one, though.
It was a good tangent.
That was a good tangent.
I mean, how long is it since we've done it was about 6 months, 7 months?
Well, my children were born in May, so before May.
Yeah, it was like March, April wasn't it, I think, yeah. So we've gone a fair bit. Those of you who are watching on YouTube will notice that we've come full circle. We're actually back in the same room that we recorded the first 4 anger management podcasts in.
First season.
Was it the whole first season? It might well have been. As you can see, we've redecorated here at Anger Management Studios. We've had a bit of a change around. The live room is now in here, and the control room is in the other room back in there.
Sweet.
So, yeah, we've had a bit of a change around. It's been a long, long time.
It has.
Liam, like I say, Liam has had children. I had my birthday last week. Was it last week? Week before, maybe?
Week before, I think.
Week before.
21 again.
Well.
In the end.
Yeah. 21.
Have you ever been 21 in the end?
When I was 21, I was in hospital having like operations and stuff. Though I fell through that roof, so I can't really remember 21 very well.
Oh dear!
Not for the reason that most people can't remember 21, like being mashed. You know what I mean? They've gone and had a ruck of pills or pints or whatever it is, and they just battered. I was in hospital having major surgery, so no, I can't remember 21. But I actually played a show up in Woolstanton at a place called Four Candles Bar. Shout out, guys. I do know a couple of the people there listen to the podcast.
Oh, ace. Shout out.
Hello, guys, at Four Candles.
Shout out to you.
What a great name for a bar as well.
Honestly. I think they should play the Anger Management podcast around closing time at 9 o'clock. Or, just put us on the big screens.
Absolutely,
Why not?
mate. It's a cracking little place. It's like it used to be in the 90s, like the 80s and the 90s. People go. It's only a tiny little place where people go to listen to the music.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to do much. You play a few chords, and everyone just sings it for you. It's great. But that's what I did on my birthday. Family came to support me, and so it was nice.
Yeah,
because I'm not really a big birthday person.
You never have really. In all time that I've known you, you've not really been I'm this age, I'm that age. Like you quite keep it to yourself a bit.
Yeah, and then as you get older, it's not really something you want to celebrate so much. But in all honesty, even as a kid, I wasn't massively into my birthday. I didn't mind celebrating people's birthdays, but my own birthday, I was very much like, well, it's just another fucking day, isn't it? You know what I mean? Does it really matter? But it got me thinking. I was talking to my lovely wife about this earlier. It got me thinking about. She asked me if I miss my. I was actually talking about you. I'd said we were doing the podcast, and you were coming up, and she was saying, "Oh, is children all right?" And usual shit. I'm sure you've been asked a gazillion times, right? And she said to me, "We were down the woods, and when I was a little kid, my dad took me down there and my sister, and we've got our names carved in the trees, in a tree down there. So me and my sister and my other little sister and my kids, Jessica and Joseph, and I must have been looking a bit wistful as I was walking around. I was actually missing my dogs because I used to take my dogs down there. And both my dogs are gone now.
Oh.
And she says, "Do you miss Jessica being little?" And it was a tough question, right? And this got me thinking that we could discuss it tonight because I do miss my little girl being my little girl. She's a fully grown adult and has been for a long time. But I don't really miss that time in my life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, I was just 19 when my daughter was born.
Yeah.
I was a kid myself, didn't know the first thing about parenting or first thing about anything really. Tying my shoes, maybe, you know,
Hat on lash every
and
weekend.
buying a pint,
Yeah, you know,
shagging
usual.
birds. That's pretty much all I did.
Typical
Playing in my
19-year-old.
band. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
didn't
why
really
not?
know what I was
Fuck it.
doing. I do miss being that age in some ways, right? But in other ways, I much prefer being the age I'm now. I'm 43 now,
yeah.
right? And I said to my wife that my life personally has been a hell of a lot better since I met my wife,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
if I'm honest, which is 6 and a bit years or whatever it is now. And might be 7 years. I can't fucking remember. It's a while anyway.
Don't shoot yourself in front of me.
No, I know. I've done that. So remember
dear.
when she found out how much I'd paid for this hockey shirt?
Oh, dear.
Oh, I were in doghouse.
Yeah,
I was, mate.
absolutely.
Doghouse.
Absolutely.
But
20 quid.
yeah, 20 quid, big. £20 on offer.
On offer, yeah.
Thanks, Liam.
Sports Direct.
Yeah,
We can get size 7.
Mark Ashley, thanks, pal. So what I was thinking is, I loved being young from the point of view of the lack of responsibility. I did massively enjoy that, right? Because
yeah.
you've only got yourself, haven't you? There's nothing else matters. But then again, I had a child at 19, right? And I was fucking poor, Liam,
Yeah.
for a long time. And whatever anybody says, right? I know money doesn't buy happiness or anything like that, but it fucking does, right?
You'd rather
It
cry in an
fucking
house,
does,
wouldn't
right? And
on the street.
anybody that fucking says otherwise, don't get me wrong, I'm not wealthy, I'm not rich or anything like that, but I've got enough that I don't have to worry too much anymore, right? I can pay my bills, I can have a pint, I can go on holiday, right? And I don't really have to worry about, and I do what I love for a living, obviously, which makes a difference.
Yeah.
And I don't miss, and I was poor for a long time, Liam, right? As a lot of people are in their early years, right? And I had children, and I was trying to run a business. I was trying to make ends meet, and it was hard work, mate. To the point where, you know, going shop, and I'm sure some of you listeners understand exactly what I'm on about here. And you go shopping, and you're buying packets of super noodles.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, I better get 5 packets of super noodles because I can't afford buy anything.
No.
I'll get this pot noodle. Oh, but I could get 4 packs of super noodles for the price of a pot noodle.
You know, noodles.
And I really don't miss that at all, mate. I don't miss being poor. I don't miss having to scrape around to make ends meet. But what I do miss is my health. So being a teenager and just being fit as a fiddle, mate, and being able to play football.
I'm going to say playing footy every weekend.
Yeah,
and all
mate. And I was fit and strong, like most people are when they're a teenager. And now I'm not, mate. As regular listeners will know, and you know, I have terrible issues with my back and surgeries and my bowel and my kidney and all the rest of it. And it really, really gets me down. I've actually been quite a bit better this summer. I've found much better. But the last 2 weeks, I've just started to get a bit rough again. Weather changes a little bit. Dark nights start coming. And I haven't felt so good. So it's always pros and cons, Liam.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to ask you was what you thought about this. Do the pros of being a little bit older, and you know, you got your kids and your family and stuff, and you've got a decent job. I assume you've still got a decent job, and you haven't swapped it again.
I'll get to that later.
Oh, that's another one. Here we go. But is that better? Is that a good trade-off for being young and carefree, and you can be irresponsible and not have to worry about anything, and you've got your fitness and your health? When you say 18,
I think it's a really good question. It's a tough one, to be honest with you, and I think this is something that we'll put to a Graham poll later on.
Oh yeah, good. This would be a good Graham. Actually.
So but
young or old, simple.
Yeah, but if that's out of context, someone's just turned this on. Young
Fat
or old,
or thin,
sausages
blonde or brunette.
Oh fucking hell!
I'm a ginger, mate. I'll be honest. I'm not a ginger. I just like the gingers.
I'm a ginger as well. My daughter's a ginger as well. So, but yeah. Anyway, sorry. I think like as I've got older, I've got more confident and more belief in myself, and now I could talk a glass eye to sleep, and hence why I went into radio and we did the podcast, and I'm very, what you see is what you get sort of character. Whereas before, like at one point in my youth, especially, even so back when I was like
My youth.
18 to 20 sort of thing, 18 to 20, 23, 24, I was quiet. I was quite reserved. I was quite,
Yeah.
and I think if I was the way I am now back then, would life have been different? And I'm not so sure, if I'm honest. Or like for the better or for the worse, I'm not sure. But like, I don't regret what I've done. I don't regret my youth and obviously what I've done and what I've achieved. I'm proud of everything that I've done and achieved. But I think as time goes on, I feel more content with life, more happy with life.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
That I think
It's
that's
a weird feeling. Like, if anyone's listening to this is under the age of 25, you might be thinking, fucking hell, you old bastards. Like, but I don't know.
I have got my slippers on as well.
Yeah.
For those of you who are listening and not watching, I'm doing the podcast with my
Why
slippers on.
not? Why not?
That's how I roll, mate.
That's it, man. And yeah, like I say, I've got a good job. I've got a good source of income. I've got 2 beautiful kids. I've got a nice house. I've got my health. I've got
Rabies.
AIDS. Chlamydia, gonorrhea, fat or thin. Let's go back to that one. Anyway, ginger. And I've missed this podcast. And it's just, and it's a weird feeling, like you're content with life. I'm not sitting here like counting down the days to retirement or thinking, oh fucking hell.
But you're not sitting there going, oh, what's over that hill? What's round that bend?
No. I'm just like, I try and take it, and this is one thing I've learned as a parent, to stay in the moment, take it a day at a time, keep grounded, because before you know it, you click your fingers, and you know yourself, Andy, you click your fingers and your kids are grown up and they've moved out and they've
absolutely,
gone,
mate.
or they're walking or they're crawling or they're answering back, and it's like, where's my baby's gone? And my kids are only
my baby's gone.
Where my baby gone? And my kids are 4 months old.
Where my baby gone?
Baby, come back.
My baby left me. I got a tiny penis.
Big enough to fill a pram. Big enough to fill 2. Anyway, sorry.
I got a little blues breakdown.
Musical fucking genius in this room. Sign me up. So yeah, and like I say, I do enjoy it, and it's just being in the moment with my kids, because before you know it, they are answering back, and they're walking and they're crawling and they're out and about. But then I enjoy the time that I've got now with them in the state that they are at such a young age. But like we were saying just before we started, Andy, you can look forward to the times where you're playing football with them, you're taking them to the park,
absolutely,
you're teaching them to ride the bike,
and this is
like
something for you as the father.
Yes,
that I have to be straight about it. I think a lot of the stuff you do as the father for the first year or so, 18 months, is quite boring and quite thankless and quite non-rewarding, really.
It's very repetitive.
It's very much go to work, earn the money, come home, make sure that you've got milk and baby food and nappies and all the rest of it, and do some changing and do this, that. And don't get me wrong, you get your times where you're giving it a bit of and picking them up, but it's not massively rewarding. But then, once they get some cognitive intelligence about them, Liam, and they start to be able to do things, particularly once they can walk, you come into your own as a father then. Yeah. Because mums have got that natural bond with the kids straight away as soon as they're born. I'm on about actual women, not men pretending they're women here. We'll get onto that as well later. Actual women with fucking women parts who can have babies, right? Because as we know, men can't have babies.
Scientific.
Complain about us if you want, but that's the fucking truth.
Or just
right?
educate yourself.
We're a non-woke podcast on here at Anger Management Studios,
there
right? But anyway, I think that you come into your own as a father once they get to about 18 months, 2 years. And you can do all kinds of things with them. And once they start to be able to react to you doing things with them, for example, having a game of football, playing with the dolls, whatever it may be, and you've got both, you've got a boy and a girl. So, and I'm quite envious, isn't the word, but I'm quite happy for you.
Thank you.
Knowing that you've got that, because I feel that we haven't really been in touch much, have we? In the last 6 months because I know how busy you've been,
Yeah,
and
it's been hectic.
I know how difficult it is with one child, never mind two. So we've sort of just let things
Yeah, this is a break for
be
me.
smooth, haven't
Like,
we, for a while?
Doing the podcast and going to work is a break for me.
Yeah. But I'm happy for you
Ah,
because I
cheers, man.
know that you've got in another probably 12 months' time. That's when you'll be in your element,
Yeah.
and you'll be like, right, kids, put your clothes on.
Yeah,
We're
come
gonna
on.
watch the footy.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
We're gonna drive up Sheffield, watch the footy,
Or watch, even like watching Disney films and stuff
whatever
like
it may
that.
be.
And it's just whatever it is, and it's having them memories, making those memories, like, again, young or old, like, when you're a bit older and you can make those memories, it's
And
it comes full circle.
I've got some great memories of being young. I absolutely
Oh,
have.
God, yeah.
But most of them are quite ridiculous, right? Most of them are either disgusting or a bit crazy, or the memories that I've made in the last 6 or 7 years have been ones that have been peaceful and tranquil and happy memories. They haven't been memories of drinking 10 pints and waking up in a bush.
Oh, no.
They've been memories of going places, or even just memories, mate, of just sitting and talking to people. You know what I mean? And think about the memories from doing this podcast for the last 3 years, right? And they're good memories. They're not crazy memories, but they're fun memories.
Yeah, of course.
And I have to state, for me, and I said this to my wife when we were walking earlier, apart from when I was a little kid, which I think is everybody's best days of their lives, right?
Yeah, of course.
When you're a little kid, like pre-teenager, and you've got no cares in the world and everything is awesome and you learn new things every day and experience something for the first time every day.
Yeah.
Those are the best days of your life.
I
But
agree.
since then, I'm happier now than I've ever been since I was probably 12 years old.
Yeah, I'd say content. Like I say,
Yeah.
I'm very content with life. I'm not like, I've had a tough year, I'll be honest with you. But like, obviously, I'll get to that later on in the show. But yeah, I'm happy where I am now and where I am going forward, and I'm taking a lot of steps to get to where I need to be and what I'm doing and things like that. And it's, and I just want to be the best person that I can be as a dad, as a partner, as a person.
When you say partner like that, it really does sound gay.
As a partner, as
The
a boyfriend. Fucking hell, Andy.
I'd be your partner, mate.
Bless you. Ooh,
thanks, mate.
touch me there.
Ooh. Grabbing my knee. But I'm gonna. I think we'll put that question to our listeners and viewers later. Young or old?
Again, out of context.
Would you rather be young or old? And of course, that is relevant to how old you are at the time, because you might be 21. So being young to you is 10, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think it would be interesting to find out if people prefer being a little bit older than what they can remember. And I'm not sure. Maybe older listeners who might be in the 60s and 70s would rather be 30. I don't know, because I haven't got there yet.
No.
So I can't make it. I can't really make a guess to that. So let us know, guys.
And like you say, let us know your stories as well. Like, we've shared a few of ours. Like you say, you might be older than me and Andy, and you might be looking at us and thinking, I remember when I was their age.
Back in the old days.
Back in day, lad, I tell you what.
Back in the old days, before we had electricity, there were no podcasts back then.
No,
let me tell you.
No, I tell you what.
We used to live at bottom of the lake.
Tin.
Liam, I'm going to
Yes.
drop you in it here.
Oh, God,
How
mate.
can people get in touch with us, mate?
Ooh. You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, Anger Management Studios, or you can find us on Twitter at Anger Manage Pod.
There you go. It's like you've never been away.
That's it, or X as it's now called, not Twitter.
Yeah, X. It's
Since
a
Elon Musk
weird one.
took it over.
I quite like Elon Musk, but it's like he's just bought the most expensive thing he can find and gone, I'm just going to fuck it right up because I'm dead rich. I'm just going to. I've never used Twitter, I'll be honest. The only time I used Twitter is when I worked for the radio. When we worked for the radio, and I used to have to do the odd twat on that, or whatever you call it.
Oh, yeah.
Tweet. Twat. I used to do a twat on the radio.
I think you said that a few times on air as well. That was quite funny.
Yeah.
And send us a twat.
Send us a twat on national radio.
We are no longer there now.
Yeah, we're not there
For
anymore, so we
obvious
say whatever the
reasons.
fuck we want, can't we,
Fuck
really?
'em, mate. Fuck 'em.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it didn't end on the greatest of terms, did it there? I loved doing our show. We presented the sports show, didn't we,
Yeah.
on the radio?
Loved it. Yeah.
I'm not going to say which radio
No,
station
fuck 'em.
still,
They don't
because
deserve.
bollocks to
They
them.
don't deserve it.
But Liam and I presented a successful, highly successful Saturday morning sports show.
It's good.
And in the end, it just became so fake liberal and woke that we just couldn't be arsed with it
But we
anymore.
had listeners from all over, didn't we? Especially
New Zealand, Malta Nat.
Shout out Nat, you
yeah.
know, as he was known, and it was good. It was like getting our own perspective on things as well, not like how BBC or talk shite lead you to believe. And,
Well, the final straw, I left slightly before you, didn't I, Liam? And the final straw for me was the whole. It was right in the middle of the Black Lives Matter taking a knee bullshit that the Premier League were doing, and it just broke the story I had a couple of days before. And Liam and I obviously wanted to discuss it on our radio show, and we were told by the powers that be that we weren't allowed to discuss Black Lives Matter or taking a knee. Guess why? Because we're not black.
There we go.
Right? Because if we did, that would be racist.
But isn't
And
that statement in itself, Andy, racist?
Strange, isn't it, that, Liam? So we can't discuss a topic because of the colour of our skin. Not racist at all, that isn't.
Well,
Suffice to say, I told him to stick it right up their fucking fake liberal
pretty much.
arses, and Liam followed suit.
I did.
So, it pissed me off a little bit because I did enjoy our show, and we had Rich on with us.
we did.
Rich would come on as our guest, and it was good fun, that was. And we loved talking about the sport. It was the Saturday morning sports show, which sort of brings us on to our next topic, really, Liam. I as you know, I'm a big golfer.
Yes.
And GA.
GA.
With me GA
with
cream.
Morgan Freeman.
For the most important hole in my round. And obviously, a couple of weeks ago was the Ryder Cup.
Yes.
And I am going to make this statement now as a follower of all sports. I love ice hockey. As you can tell, I got my Senators shirt on at the moment. New season started last night. Senators lost.
Did that one cost you 20 quid as well? Or?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love the cricket, as you know. I used to love football, but football has just become a pansy's game of chucking yourself on the floor and waiting 5 minutes for a computer's decision that then gets overridden by a referee anyway. It's mad.
Of VAR, quickly, as a sub-tangent. Did you see the one about Liverpool? And there was the VAR decision.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've read about it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, and the commentary, and he was like, oh, it's a goal. It's onside. And he's like, what? And he's like, it's on, Gary. Oh, bollock. And then he's like going mad. And he's like, stop the game, give the goal. And he's like, I can't stop the game now. It continued. And I'm like,
it's just bollocks,
These are top-level refs.
It's complete bollocks. Why not just let the refs make the decision?
Exactly.
The VAR thing makes it wrong all the time anyway, so just let the refs go wrong. It's fucking bullshit.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, off on a tangent there.
Sorry.
So I love the Ashes and cricket.
Yeah.
Right, that's my second favourite competition. I love the Stanley Cup, and my very, very favourite sporting event is the Ryder Cup.
Yes.
Even though golf's not my favourite sport, it's in my top 5 or 6.
Okay.
But I absolutely fucking love the Ryder Cup, Liam. It's absolutely amazing.
Nice.
And again, it was a fucking emotional roller coaster, the Ryder Cup this time. Rory McIlroy trying to fight with fucking Americans on the fucking car park. And there's all kinds of shit. Fucking ignorant bastard yank caddies walking across the green, getting in McIlroy's way.
All that shit,
mate, it was proper. It was proper. Shane Lowry having a fucking pint and wanting to fill everyone in. He's fucking great. He is, Shane Lowry. But it was amazing, mate. And it's always meant win or lose. I always love it, right? And the question I was going to put to you and put to listeners is, what is, in 2023, or in the modern age, what is the best sporting tournament? If you'd have asked me 20 years ago, I'd have said the World Cup.
Yeah.
By far. But I've completely fallen out of love with football over the last 10 years, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So I've got number 1 is the Ryder Cup, number 2 is the Ashes, and number 3 is the Stanley Cup in ice hockey. Those are my 3. But the Stanley Cup's a tough one, really, because it lasts for the entire year, doesn't it? So I could probably say the Stanley Cup playoffs, which last for a couple of months. But I think that would be more accurate. But I'm going to stick with Ryder Cup is the best competition in all of sport.
Yeah, I think for me, it's mainly football, but how football used to be. So I'm talking France, 98, Germany, 2006, and even like the South Africa.
I think Germany was the last good World Cup.
Yeah, I'd probably...
South Africa was crap.
South Africa 2010.
I can still hear them Vuvuzela things in me fucking ears.
But
I think that's why I've got tinnitus.
The what?
Them fucking Vuvuzelas. Is that how you...
Yeah.
Is that how you say
it?
Every fucking match.
And it was like, who thought that was a good idea?
No idea.
And there was like, the corruption with Sepp Blatter and bribery and FIFA and all that shit. And it's like...
Mind you, at least Sepp Blatter didn't fucking... Oh, mind you, it was him who originally gave it to Qatar.
Yeah,
it was Sepp. Thanks, Sepp.
And then... but no, I think Germany 2006, I would probably have to agree.
Yeah, it was the last good World Cup.
last good World Cup.
It was.
But yeah, I think France 98 as well. And it's just like the players that we used to have as a football team, as an England squad, compared to the players that we have now, aside from Jude Bellingham, who's shit hot,
He is pretty good.
Pretty naff, if I'm honest, like the players that we've got now. Whereas you look in the past, you've got Gascoigne, Shearer.
What do you think the reason is for that? That there are no characters really left. In most sports, there aren't any characters left. It's very rare now. I personally think it's because people can't risk saying anything anymore.
So
if we had, let's say we had a famous professional footballer came onto the podcast, right? He literally would have to sit here nodding and not saying anything.
Or like,
yeah.
He
like, couldn't say anything
because
you say the wrong thing that doesn't fit the fake liberal agenda, and your entire career's ruined and cancelled. It doesn't matter if you've been proven to have done. Look at Russell Brand at the moment.
Oh, fucking hell,
look at that.
Mate.
I've never been a Russell Brand fan at all, but guess what? I've subscribed to his fucking channel now, right? Because I think a lot of what he says is bollocks. I think a lot of what he says is... There's something to think about in there.
Yeah.
But the simple fact is, you can't cancel someone's ability to earn a living on hearsay.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no trial taking place. There's no court findings. There's nothing. There's just a bit of a rumour from fucking, was it Channel 4
something
or
like
something,
that,
whatever it was.
A whistleblower, quote unquote.
It's like, well, you can't just stop someone being able to earn a living because of that. That's fucking madness.
That's, it's like someone coming into the studio now and accusing us and saying, right, you two, you're this, that, and other, and then this goes out for everyone to see. You'd be thinking, what?
Yeah,
like,
it's bad. Well, prove it.
Like,
prove it.
Yeah, don't come at me saying you're this, that,
and
other.
Yeah, Steve-O, Liam, you fucking, we saw you fucking bundle some bloke in the back of your van and tie some breeze blocks around his fucking legs and dump him in a lake. And me and Liam go, no, we didn't do that, no. And they go, well, anyway, we're cancelling your life.
Channel 4 knock on doors, ITV, BBC, the lot,
Fucking bullshit.
And it's utter bollocks, but and I think that's the day and age that we're in now, and
linking it back to what we were saying, do you think that that's the reason why we don't really have any sporting characters anymore?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the one thing that pisses me off as well is just when you see players arrive at stadiums and they're just straight in. They don't stay and like sign autographs or take photos or anything else like that. Like, you'd get that 10, 15, 20 years
It's like
ago.
they don't appreciate
It's
what
like
they are, what life they've got.
The game itself has just become, and I completely understand why you fall out and love with football is purely for this reason as well. It's just, it's all about the money. It's all about the egos. It's not for the love of the sport anymore.
Well, the proof's in the pudding, Liam. That every competition in football is won by the same teams every single year, without fail. So Manchester City have won 4 out the last 5 Premier Leagues, is it?
Something like that.
Right. Barcelona and Real Madrid win the Spanish league every year. Bayern Munich win the German league every year. Celtic and Rangers win Scotland. It's everything, it's the same every time. And then the European Cup, well, the Champions League as it is. The Champions League is won by the same 4 or 5 teams every year, usually Real Madrid.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much.
But now it might be Man City for you. But it's boring as sin, mate. For somebody like me, I'm not a supporter of a Premier League club, and neither are you.
No.
You know what I'm saying.
There, but
you're a borderline team, aren't you? You know what I mean? But we're not. What I'm saying is we're not supporters of massively rich clubs, right?
No.
So I watched top-level football as a neutral.
Yeah.
And I don't just watch Man City rinse everybody all the
fuck
time.
that.
It's fucking boring as sin. So guess what? I don't watch it. Right?
Yeah.
And the bubble will burst eventually because it's boring as fuck, mate.
Yeah.
The games themselves might not be boring, but the outcome is boring.
It's like that. They tried bringing in, I think it was last year or the year before, the Super League. Can you remember that bollocks?
Oh, yeah, that was a couple of years ago.
It was like Juventus, Bayern, both Manchester teams. I'm like, this isn't FIFA.
And Spurs.
This isn't fucking... Yeah, this is so boring. But imagine watching that. You'd be like, this is boring as shit. This is boring as fuck.
Yeah, it's crap, man. And it's not interesting. And I think football really, really needs to find a way to make the competitive side of it more interesting. So I always use ice hockey as an example. So there's been, I think it's 14 out of the last 21 seasons have had different winners of the Stanley Cup. Or was it some crazy statistic like that? So you know that you've got a chance of being the best ice hockey team in the world, basically.
Everyone's got the same.
You could be the worst.
Chance,
you could finish last, but you could finish top.
But you give it a good go.
You know what I mean? And
you never know.
And it's interesting. And I think that's why I love the Ryder Cup again, because it's so interesting from a competitive point of view. The only problem with the Ryder Cup is a lot of the time it's won by the home side. And I think they do need to address the way that it's won regularly, but I don't think it's been won by the away side for about 8 years, 9 years or something.
I mean, especially this most recent one, like Europe absolutely smashed.
Well,
USA,
not as much as you would think.
No.
It was a lot closer than the scores suggest, mate.
Yeah.
It really, really was. It was a close one this time. It was probably the best one since the miracle at Medina in 2012, which is the greatest sporting event I've ever seen. It's the greatest of the greatest sporting events.
Yeah.
2012, watch it. The Miracle at Medina. Oh, Liam, it's great. It's great. I get tingles just thinking about it. It's amazing. But the point I was trying to make is football. I feel that football is on the wane. I really do. And I used to love football when I was young, and I just don't anymore.
It's
mate.
same with like Vale, and I'm sure like you don't really watch Vale much anymore, or you're not really arsed.
Not these days, mate. It's very difficult to follow a team when you know, even if you have the best season you could possibly have, my team are never ever going to play at the top level. They're just not, because we don't have enough money. It's nothing to do with how you run. It's nothing to do with the people in charge or the management or the players or whatever. The simple fact is, we are your team are a Premier League team, just about, right? You are never ever ever going to win the Premier League, ever. There's the same chance as my team winning the Premier League. You will never ever win, because it will only be ever won by the same few teams. And
it's them with the most money as well. You know, it's your Man Cities that invest.
Well, whoever's got the most money.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And they have that allure then for players. Do you think Haaland wouldn't go to Man City if Man City hadn't won the Premier League for the last 5 seasons in a row? No, I don't think they would.
Of course he wouldn't. It's a strange one, Liam. But
yeah.
I'm gonna, before we move on, I'm gonna ask you, what is your greatest sporting tournament? I've told you my favourite sporting competition and my favourite one of those that's ever been. It was the Miracle at Medina in 2012.
Yeah.
And it closely followed in second place by the 2005 Ashes, which still to this day was just glorious.
I think for me, Germany 2006 has to be the best World Cup out there.
Oh, why? Why? Tell me why.
Just like, again, it's just ever since...
That was the World Cup where Frank Lampard's shot crossed the line by about 8 yards, wasn't it?
That was 2010.
Oh, was that 2010? What was 2006 for England?
It was just, fucking hell. Did we finish I think we did shit, to be fair.
Well, we won't have got past the quarter-final.
Or someone like that in charge. I'm sure it was Sven.
As long as it wasn't Gareth Southgate, the biggest fucking fraud in history, Gareth Southgate.
Fucking hell, he's a fraud if ever I've known one. Like, I think me and you would have a better job.
I just don't understand what merit he has the England job on. Well, he got Middlesbrough relegated, and...
Did all right with under 21s,
So what then, Gareth?
Then what?
Same medals as me.
Well,
None.
Andy, it got us to a final.
He got us to a final where first good side we played, we got fucking battered. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely ace. Anyway, Liam, I'm going to move on.
Yeah, no worries, man.
we'll have one little topic, and then we'll take a take.
A tick.
Quick. We'll take a quick Freudian slip. We'll take a quick break. I was reading the other day about HS2, right?
Oh yes.
So you know the fucking
in London.
the train line that's been built so fucking toffs can get to London 10 minutes quicker, right? Fucking
yes.
HS2 means nothing to anyone whatsoever, right?
Not for us
Nobody
common
wants
people.
it. It's bollocks,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty much.
Apparently, they've scrapped the bit from Manchester to Birmingham finally. Shocked.
Shocked.
I know, mate.
Shocked.
I wanted to put to you, right? Can you think of anything that's been a bigger fucking waste of bastard money
Well,
than HS2?
we live in Stoke-on-Trent, and the amount of multi-storey car parks that we do not need.
Mate, I noticed that the other day. I actually went to Hanley. Those of you listening from other parts, I actually don't live anywhere near the city. I live by Alton Towers in a lovely place. But Stoke-on-Trent's our closest city, right? And some of it really is a shithole. It really is. I had to go to so Hanley. Stoke-on-Trent's made up of like 6 towns, right?
Yeah.
And Hanley is one of those towns, and Hanley is where the shopping centre is, and where all the shops used to be. And it actually used to be quite a vibrant city centre.
Yeah.
Really did back in the day. It's fucking grim.
It's
now.
full of smackheads and homeless people.
So grim, mate.
It's disgusting. Everywhere's shut down though. And you're just like, it's like a ghost town.
It's horrendous.
I mean, fair enough, we've had COVID, but fucking hell,
I had to walk through the other day, Liam, the first time I've been there in probably about 7 years, right? And I'd gone to, there's a little record shop, but it's on the outskirts. And I can park on Tesco and just walk around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And go in the record shop. And I come out of the record shop, and I needed some new trainers, which I would usually just get online. I thought, you know what? I'll nip up the sports shop. I felt like I was traversing Beirut. I did, mate.
Honestly.
It was horrendous. The amount of fucking dodgy looks I got. The whole place is full of immigrants, right? Again, I'm not fucking bothered what someone's fucking skin colour is,
You're not wrong.
right? But I couldn't help but notice, right? I
Yeah.
couldn't help but notice that I was the only white bloke walking through the fucking town, right? Again, not really bothered about the colour of someone's skin, but I couldn't help but notice it, right?
Yeah.
And I went to go into the shopping centre. There was 2 blokes injecting themselves in the fucking doorway.
Yeah.
Just plain as day.
Yeah.
Coppers driving around in the car, in the
Don't give a
pedestrians. Coppers won't even get out the car.
No, what the fuck?
Right? And I got 20 yards inside the shopping centre, and I just thought, fuck this. I'm going home. I'll get my stuff online. And I walked back down a different way back towards Tesco, and it was, I can't remember what the fucking street's called, but it's the street where all the nightclubs and bars are.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I know what you mean.
Well, were.
Yeah,
I
is that
should
with
say.
like walkabout and
Yeah.
Subway and all
But
that?
none of it's there anymore,
No,
Liam. It's
closed
all
down.
just boarded up.
Yeah.
There used to be 30 nightclubs there, mate.
Yeah.
And pubs, and there's none of
It's
it.
a ghost town.
There's none of it. All there is fucking people talking in foreign languages and shouting things
Even
at you
bottom
across
of
the
that
road. Weird, mate.
You've got
Weird.
a fucking great big massive Sainsbury's boarded up. Weeds growing everywhere, and you think,
Yeah, what the fuck's going on?
It's gone to dogs. But yeah, and that's what pisses me off. So we can spend money on multi-storey car parks that no one uses because no one comes.
I couldn't help but notice it. So they've built like them new council offices, haven't they, down the bottom, right? So they've spent millions and millions of pounds on this building that it's got like all them coloured things on the side.
Yeah.
It looks like it's straight out of 1970 fucking Ford, doesn't it? It's
Joseph's
fucking
Magic
weird.
Raincoat.
Yeah.
Fucking
It's
ridiculous.
weird. And then you've got to remember that all these buildings are all closed down all around it. There's nothing. There's no infrastructure left.
No.
There's no shops left. And they've built a giant fucking 4,000 car multi-storey car park there. With no cars on it.
No.
Because no one goes there
Yeah.
for any reason. Because it's a complete shithole.
Yeah.
And that's a fantastic one, that is, Liam.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, honestly, it's just around here, like from my personal observation, but it's just a waste of money. But then there's people out there that have obviously struggled through COVID and lockdown and things like that. Should we help them? Nah, fuck that. Let's build a multi-storey car park
Mad.
with taxpayers' money, with your money.
I'm going to say the biggest waste of money in the history of this country, without a shadow of a doubt, is giving people 80% of their wages to sit at fucking home for 2 years.
Yeah, people.
Right?
Some of us had to go out and work.
That is the most insane. And I was a recipient of the self-employed what did they call it? SEISS payments, right? I just wanted to go work. I didn't want money off anyone.
Hey, honestly,
right? I wanted to go work, right? Because I was never going to die, right?
Yeah.
I was never going to fucking die or kill anyone. As Boris Johnson and his pals proved when they were having the parties down at Down Street, they knew full well that they were never going to die. Nothing was going to happen to them, right? And I can't think of a bigger waste, because what you got to remember is it's basically bankrupted this country, right?
For people to sit on their arse 2 years.
Instead of just going, okay, right, if you're a vulnerable person, right, you're elderly or you've got a pre-existing condition of some kind, you guys stay at home. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I get
but
that.
all you fucking 25-year-olds, you're just fucking going work the same as you normally do. You might get a sniffle.
That's
right?
it, yeah.
You're going to go work and keep the fucking country going, you cunts.
Yeah.
Honestly. But no, what we'll do is we'll give people free money to sit at home. That is my vote for the biggest waste of money in the history of mankind.
And then what pisses me off as well, Andy, is the whole... So COVID's been and gone, right? Biggest fucking con in history, in my opinion. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. But there'll be people that, can you come back into office, Sharon? Oh, I'm too scared to go in. My anxiety's through the roof. No, it's not. Just get your ass off SETI, turn loose women off, and get the fuck out your front door. Simple as that. Simple, and I feel like everyone's too scared to go into work, and it's all this work from home bollocks.
Well, you've still got people who work for different social services and HMRC and all the rest of it. You still won't go back work. They're still not back work now, right? Oh, might get COVID. Mate, I've had a couple of the last few weeks, couple of different incidents of it. Such and such tested positive for COVID. And I always go, how do they know?
Yeah.
Well, they've had a test. And I go, why? Have they tested themselves for rabies, herpes, flu? And no.
Yeah.
And I go, well, why have they tested themselves for COVID then? Why? Why would you do that? Well, they're going to have to be off work now. And I go, there it is. That's why they've tested themselves for fucking COVID. It's fucking bullshit. If you're I'm going to put this to all the fucking listeners now. If you've tested yourself for COVID in the last ever really, but especially in the last 12 months, you're a cunt. Right? You are part of the fucking problem. There it is. Right? Sue me. Fuckers. Honestly. But yeah, that's my biggest waste of money.
Yeah, no, I agree.
On a personal note, I've got quite a few over the years, mate. Quite a fucking few. I bought a drum booth once. A drum booth. Yeah.
You have to elaborate on that a little bit.
So it's not
how it sounds.
It's not rocket science, mate. No. It's a booth that you stick your drums in.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, what it's supposed to be is you encapsulate the drummer so that the sound doesn't spill out to the rest of the stage. Okay. And I spent £3,500 on this about 10 years ago. Turns out I could have built it for £100. It's just perspex plastic.
Yeah.
Right, and then some
like insulation,
like these kind of soundproofing, but around the bottom. And it arrived, and this is before like Amazon and stuff, where you just send stuff back if you didn't like it. And it arrived, and I was like, literally could have knocked this up like in my shed for a tenner. You know what I mean? £3,500. £3,500.
Felt absolutely conned.
Yeah. Full on fucking like I'd bought it off Wish.
Oh,
you know
no.
I mean?
No, fuck that. What did you do then? Send it back? Or did
No,
you just
I couldn't send it back. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just shit. One of them, yeah. I learnt my lesson though, mate. I'm really picky about my purchases.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think you've got to be, especially in today's day and age. Everyone's trying to make a quick buck.
That's it. Anyway, we're gonna have a quick break. My throat's starting. It's been that long since we've done a podcast. I'm starting to feel like I've fucking had some dick in my mouth or something. Me fucking
coming up after the break. Andy takes the dick out of his mouth.
Absolutely. But yeah, we'll be back shortly. We're not having any music, Liam. I'm going to play you a little bit of music because I've got a new album coming out with my new band in a couple of weeks. I'm going to show you some stuff, but we're not going to play any music. As we've explained many times, it just ended up being such a fucking hassle.
Yeah.
Do you Own the copyright to your music. Else we can't play it.
Oh
As
no,
one of them.
that used to be my favourite when bands that would get in touch with us. Can you play our music? And yeah, no problem. And then we go back. Do you own the rights to your music? Nothing. No email. No message back. No nothing. But guess what? It's too late. We've already put you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Ah.
So the podcast would be demonetized, copyright strike. Fucking honestly, dealing with musicians, and
your
I'm
music
one of them.
won't get heard by anyone. So
Yeah, that's
shot
it.
yourself in foot.
So no, we're not going to have any
No.
music today. We will be back in just a moment, where we've got some fantastic topics. We're going to discuss plastic surgery.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going to discuss my personal favourite, shitting your pants.
What? Again, out of context podcast.
Yeah, cringeworthy tribute acts.
Ooh, I've got a few of them.
And as usual, it's been a while, but we are going to bring back our favourite segment, Weekly Woke Watch.
Yeah.
Here on the Anger Management Podcast. Back in a moment, dudes.
See you in a minute.
See you in a minute. Welcome back to the Anger Management Podcast, Season 3. Definitely episode fucking 4.
Are we sure?
Yeah,
Are we
I am 100% certain on this, Liam. Like I said, I checked it before we
That's
started.
all right then.
Because we really did make ourselves look like absolute bellends last time, didn't we?
Fucking amateurs.
Let's be honest, we did. So, yes, we're back. It's nice to see everyone. Liam's just figured out that it was April the what when we last did?
16th of April.
16th of April when we last did a podcast. That's how busy we have been. I've been out doing working at festivals and sound engineering and all the rest of it over the summer. It does get really busy in my industry. Liam's been fathering.
Yes, I've been out making kids.
Yeah, is that what it's called? Is it called fathering or parenting? It's parenting,
I
isn't
think,
it?
Yeah.
Liam's been parenting,
Yeah,
basically.
been looking after my babies.
So we have been very, very busy. That's why we haven't had a podcast for a while. We are going to get Super Vainsy back on soon. To be fair, it'll be Christmas soon, so it'll be the traditional Vainsy will bring a
Beers.
6-pack round, and
Yeah.
we'll have the Christmas
Yeah,
pod.
why not?
He did actually contact me a couple of weeks ago, Vainsy did. I think he just said pod ? So you know he's always ready. So shout out, Vains. We will be seeing you soon,
Yes.
young man.
Yes.
You know it. He is married now as well.
I know.
Of course.
Shout out,
I was
Vainsy.
the DJ at his wedding. I was. He'd had a few.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
sure he can even remember me
I can
being there, to be
imagine-
honest.
I can
But
imagine him.
it was a good night. So, yeah,
He's a good
shout
man.
out Vainsy, married Vainsy.
He's a good man.
So, yeah, we're hoping now Liam's got a little bit more time. Now the kids have settled
Yeah,
down a little
settled
bit.
in a bit now.
So
yeah,
we're going to
yeah.
try and provide you with some regular podcast
Try being a key
content.
word.
So we'll see you again in 6 months.
Yeah.
Hey! There it is. But we're going to do our utmost. I mean, you guys know we don't get paid or anything for this. We do it for the love of the podcast and the love of you listeners and all those people in Uganda who seem to love us for no apparent reason.
Hey, still number 3. Were we at one point?
Number 3 in Uganda, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3 entertainment podcast in Uganda.
There we go. Stick that
So
on the credits.
all you Ugandanese, I'm not sure how you say it, but thanks, guys. You make it all worthwhile.
You can buy us
really
a brew.
do.
If all of you just bought us one brew each.
And where can people actually buy us a brew if they do want to buy us a brew, Liam?
You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, Anger Management Studio. So you can find us on Twitter at Anger Managed Pod. Yeah, we've got link trees as well, which you can find all the donation pages and everything else like that. 100% of your donation goes towards supporting the Anger Management Podcast.
It certainly does indeed.
We don't pocket any of it.
Get
It just goes towards
Get yourself on
keeping things running.
get yourself on TikTok, where we're almost up to 50,000 followers.
It is
mate.
still just tits.
Us. It's just it's our tits.
Yeah,
It's our
yeah,
tits.
to be honest.
We get a tits
your
out
tractor.
in various locations on tractors.
Yeah.
Get me tits out on tractors. That's it. But yeah, we're nearly up to, considering like 18 months ago, I knew nothing. I didn't even know TikTok existed
No.
till you told me about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
And there we are, nearly 50,000 followers now. Get yourselves on there. It is a bit of a laugh. We don't make any
we
money
don't
from
take
it.
Serious.
We've had the opportunity to monetize it, but we don't, because we want to be able to say and do whatever we please, just like we do on the podcast.
There we go.
So there you go. Get on there and follow
Buy
us.
a brew. Why not?
Liam, I saw a picture of David Beckham the other day.
With his clothes on or off? Andy, where are you going with this?
He had his clothes on.
Damn.
It wasn't like a naughty David, but it wasn't like DavidBeckhamUncovered.com. You know what I mean?
Oh, what
it
was that website again? Let me
it was just a normal picture of David Beckham, and I thought, bloody hell, he's still a handsome chap, isn't he, for 50 odd, whatever he is, right? And then standing next to him, I actually thought he was standing next to a really big used candle. Right? turns out it's his missus.
Yeah,
right?
She's rough.
What the fuck?
Mate,
Liam, what the flying fuck?
Why do birds do it to themselves?
I've got no idea.
Victoria Beckham.
She was proper smo.
Yours.
Proper smo.
Yours, and I will never get over this. Courtney Cox.
Oh, don't.
See what I mean?
Oh, don't.
Why?
It upsets me, mate. It upsets me.
Just grow old gracefully.
Yeah, Courtney Cox looks terrible. But the Posh Spice one, I couldn't believe it because Bex looks as good as he did when he was 20. Better, right? He's aged gracefully.
Like
I mean, he's obviously a 50-year-old man, but he just looks good, right? Victoria Beckham would most likely look good if she hadn't filled her entire fucking face with plastic shit.
It's vile.
It's so grim,
the
honestly.
lips and the nose and the cheeks and the...
Name me, right, or any of you viewers and listeners, right, if you can send us in a photo of any woman that looks better after plastic surgery. Any, at all. Anyone. It could be your mum. It could be a celebrity. It could be some fucking hooker from fucking Cobridge, right? Send us a picture of anyone that looks better after plastic surgery. Because I look at it like, I understand plastic surgery. If you've been in an accident or something, or you could be a burns victim or something bad's happened, right, and you need, I don't know, your nose fixing or a skin graft or whatever, right? I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
It still looks shit,
Yeah.
but I get it, right?
Yeah.
But people like that have had to have it done, right? Why would you voluntarily have it done, Liam? There is no instance anywhere on planet Earth where a woman looks better after she's had fucking plastic surgery.
Imagine if your wife did that. She's like, you've come home from a gig or whatever, and she walks through the door.
She'd get drop kicked out the fucking window.
Even just cringe.
It doesn't it make you feel sick?
It does, honestly.
But I want to ask you, viewers, do any of you that actually find this attractive? Because I know there are blokes out there who think it, but are these the same blokes that like them women who basically dye the skin orange and fucking... is that the same
on TikTok and OnlyFans and all that?
Is that
shit?
the same kind of thing? Like what's going on there? Do any of you blokes find women like that attractive? Do you find women who've put, what do they call it? Is it filler?
Filler, yeah.
In the face, in the lips and stuff, or what? Like
imagine touching the face and it's like
it's weird. And they have like the skin gets stretched out, doesn't it? So the lines disappear. It's like you're 50. Just accept the lines. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, for fuck's sake. You're not 17. You've got lines on your face. Don't fucking mess with your face.
But again, coming back to going full circle to your earlier point, Andy, young or old, would you rather prefer Courtney Cox in her younger days or in her older days?
Yeah, but the question there is, I can only picture Courtney Cox as an older woman with horrific plastic surgery. What would she look like if she'd just grown old normally? And she was not, because I'm not, don't get me wrong, right? I'm 43 years old. I can still appreciate a really fit 18-year-old woman, but I wouldn't want to be with an 18-year-old.
No.
And my wife's only 29. That's plenty young enough for me, right? And I can also appreciate a woman my age who's still attractive. What a woman of 43 isn't attractive when she's spent 10 years filling her face with fucking plastic. It's disgusting. Actually, it makes me feel fucking ill. I don't understand.
And there are all these like dolly birds, like I don't know how Valley Girls. I think you
Valley Girls in California, yeah. But the Valley Girls when they're 20, it's fine, you know. But it's even madder that girls of that age are putting plastic in the face, right? Why would you be doing it when you're 20 and your skin's absolutely perfect and you why would you be doing it then?
Yeah.
What are you trying to achieve then? I don't understand it, mate. I mean, at least if you're like 50, I mean, I think it's ridiculous, but you're trying to look younger for some reason. I understand why you're doing it, even if I think it's completely retarded. if you're 20, what you try and do? You try and look like a toddler, or you know what I mean? What are you going to do next? Start wearing nappies or
trying
fucking
to appeal to like the younger
It's
generation, like
ridiculous.
20 to 30, whatever.
Absolutely
It's like,
fucking ridiculous, mate. I just don't get. It's like fucking blokes who go out and have hair transplants, right? It's like, how can you be that insecure about yourself that
I'd
you go and
shave it all
spend your
off,
money on a
mate.
fucking
I'd
hair?
shave it all
Well,
off.
look at my fucking hair.
Yeah,
I'm had fucking proper hair for years. But you know what? Coolest bloke of all time's Captain Picard.
There you go.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
You know,
I'm just saying, all of you out there with shitloads of hair, you're not as cool as Captain Picard, I promise you.
And make
Right?
the most of it while you've got it.
Well, you've got it.
You never know.
But I really, really don't understand. And what I wanted to ask you, Liam, is what do you think is the reason that people do you think people are under some kind of pressure in the TikTok, Facebook, social media age? Because I thought that for a bit, but then I thought, but particularly women have always tried to look younger. So
Yeah.
this can't be a social media thing. Maybe it's a societal thing.
Yeah, and I think it's an egotistical thing as well. So like you've just touched on, like older women will dress younger. They'll have lipo, they'll have filler, they'll have plastic surgery, they'll have bigger tits, and I'm like, but why? Just and like you see it in like films. And I'm just looking at them and I'm thinking,
Really?
no,
Really? Yeah.
not for me.
I'm the same. I
Au
like
natural.
I like natural beauty, and of
Yeah.
course, not everyone is going to be the most beautiful person on the planet, right? But you have to somehow find a way of being okay with yourself, right? And most people aren't hideously ugly, right? They're not deformed. You just have not, take care of yourself. The one that gets me, is folk who are fucking 10 stone overweight go out and have plastic surgery,
Yeah.
right? I'm just going to tell you this, guys, if you're listening, right? If you are 10 stone overweight and you go out and have plastic surgery, you're still a fat bastard. You're
Pretty
just
much.
a fat
Yeah.
bastard that looks a bit like a candle.
Yeah, pretty
Right?
much.
Here's a tip for you, right? Go and lose 10 stone instead, right? I promise you, it'll be much more rewarding. It won't fuck you up in the long term,
all.
right? It
Yeah.
won't fuck you up. It will make you a lot better and a lot healthier, right? Having plastic surgery doesn't cure anything. It just doesn't.
But wouldn't it just hinder your life experience as well? So say, for example, Andy, you wanted to go abroad with your family, your wife, kids, whatever, and you've had a ton of plastic surgery. You're not telling me that person's laid on sun lounger, consciously thinking, shit, I best not stay out in sun too long because I'm going to start fucking melting
Just on the sun lounger.
like the Wicked Witch of the West. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like surely some part in that person's mind is like, can't stay out too long, my lips will start,
Yeah.
you know.
It's
Like inflating or bollocks. It's just the thought of it, mate. It's just
minging
it
into
makes me skin crawl. And like I wouldn't like that. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying there's anything wrong with having little things done, like say a skin graft or whatever.
I am.
Yeah.
If you're having those things because you've been in an accident or something, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you just get up one day and go to a clinic and have
No, exactly, yeah.
fucking procedures, I just don't. I don't get it.
No, I get. Yeah,
and
I'm
I've
fully
got to
on
be
that.
honest with you. I think it should be against law. Honestly, I really think it shouldn't be allowed unless you've been in some accident of
Imagine
some kind.
seeing that in nightclubs. You cannot enter if you're like over 18. If you're under 18, you cannot enter if you are at least 70% plastic.
Yeah, that's it. Like
Fuck
they got
off.
scanners on the fucking doors.
Yeah. Barbie.
Fucking rank, mate.
It's just horrible.
Absolutely rank. I don't get it, and I think that people should have to, if you're going to have plastic surgery procedures done, I think you should have to apply for some kind of medical license to do it.
I was just about to say
And
that,
it should be done on it. Because, of course, what would happen then is 90% of them wouldn't bother.
Yeah.
Because, if you've got it, as we've proved time and time again in Western society, if there's any effort involved, 90% of people watch Netflix.
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, of putting any effort into anything, because most folk are bone idle,
Yeah,
lazy, fat
pretty much.
cunts,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we know.
Yeah.
Right, so that would get rid of all the fucking part-timers. And the ones who really still wanted to do it, they'd have to apply for a Remember way back, I think it was season 1, episode 2, licensing for leggings.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
That's so
same fucking deal,
Yeah,
mate.
yeah.
Same deal, right? You got to apply for a license if you want to fuck yourself up like that. And the other thing that always gets me is, can you imagine being one of these surgeons who gives these procedures to people? You've got to be a right fucking weird boy.
Heartless
Do you know, I
bastard,
read the
yeah.
other day that surgeons are the second highest. There's the second highest amount that are psychopaths in any job.
Really?
CEO is the number one.
Fucking hell.
Surgeons number 2, and people in the entertainment industry. And number 3, Liam.
Woohoo!
Yeah, psychos.
But it's, I think it's a con for the gullible, the stupid, and the insecure.
The insecure. I think it's the insecure more than anything else. I suppose it's how makeup has been peddled to women for a long time, isn't it? And baldness with guys and blah blah blah.
And the role models that, like, the younger generation. God, I say I'm 31. I've got to stop using that
Younger
phrase.
generation.
The younger generation back in my day. Anyway, but like people like Kim Kardashian and fucking the Jenner's sisters.
Isn't one of them shagging Travis Barker? One of them.
Kourtney Kardashian is. Yeah.
What is he doing,
Mate?
Honestly, just
And I
don't get it.
thought,
I'd rather be celibate for the rest of my life than be with a woman like that.
and it's just
I would. They're repulsive.
But people looking at, oh my God, look at this picture of Kardashians on Instagram or on Facebook or TikTok or whatever. I want to look like that. No, you don't, Sharon. Don't be.
And you're never going to look like that either, because you're 10 stone overweight.
Yeah, you're
right?
58.
I don't know how many times I have to state this, right? Most people's problem is they're overweight.
Yeah.
Right?
Just go for a jog.
Stop being overweight and you'll look 10 times more attractive.
Simple.
You really, really will. You won't have to cake yourself in makeup, right? Because your face will be the right shape because it's not bloated and fat as fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's dead simple. Don't do plastic surgery. Do exercise. That's the hot take of the week. Your tip from the Anger Management Podcast.
How easy was that, though, Andy? How easy was it just to say, rather than, oh, well, you need to go to this doctor in California.
And the
have
thing is, Liam, right? Being fit and healthy and exercising is fun, and you don't have to do it on your own. You can go to gym. I'm not a big gym person at all, but I understand why people go to the gym, and there's a camaraderie and a social group there, and I get it, and it can be fun. Going under a fucking local anaesthetic or a general anaesthetic and having some psychopath poking round in you and shoving fucking bits of dashboard in your face, right? That's not fun. No. As a person who's now had 30 surgeries, I wrote a song earlier this year called 30 Surgeries when I had my 30th surgery, right? 30 surgeries, guys. None of them are fun. I promise you. And if I didn't have to have them, I wouldn't have them, right? Plastic surgery.
Basically, long story short, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Knock it on the fucking head, ladies particularly.
Yes.
That's our advice to you, being experts.
Just be natural. Grow old naturally.
Grow old naturally. Lisa Kudrow's still nice, Phoebe, because she hasn't had any plastic surgery. But Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston have, and they look terrible. There you go. What more evidence do you need?
Grim. Well, imagine what they'd look like now if they just grown old gracefully.
Well, they just look absolutely lovely, but older. That's what. I tell you one,
for me, like, I don't know if he's had any. I could be wrong, but as a bloke, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't know. I'm not that close with him. So
no, well, I'm not there like knocking one out to DiCaprio or whatever. But you see him and you think you look at him in Titanic and you look at him now. I mean, fair enough, it was 97, 2023, but he always gets younger birds like models and all this and stuff, and I'm like,
that's because he's Leonardo DiCaprio.
To be fair,
Liam,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
What more do you need to say,
true.
really?
Yeah, no.
Just walk in a room. I bet he doesn't even have to speak. I bet he just walks in a room and goes, and all the women in there, no matter how fucking progressive and feminist they are, every single one of them gets moist in the loins. Every single fucking one. There is no way no way that Leonardo DiCaprio walks in a room
think
and
if
every
I-
woman
yeah.
doesn't go.
Oh, I'm
Even
pregnant.
the lesbians, mate.
Yeah, I think if I walked into a room with DiCaprio,
I would.
I'd be pregnant. I'd be
If
pregnant.
if Leonardo DiCaprio walked into a room and I was there, I would definitely do a quick double take and go. I'd give him that.
The
you know
look,
that. You know
the-
that.
oh,
You're doing all right there, mate. You're doing all right, Luke.
The nod.
Yeah, I'll do it in the camera there for those of you.
There you go.
That one.
And if
yeah?
you're listening to this podcast, you'll have to go and watch the
Yeah,
video and see what
you'll have to watch the video
face
and give
is.
us a like on YouTube,
Yeah.
guys. Liam, next topic I wanted to discuss. Right.
Okay.
It's quite a straightforward title. I want to know about the times when you've absolutely shit your pants. Shit your
Physically
pants.
or
Well, I either or, physically or metaphorically.
metaphorically, that's the one I was
Right.
looking
Either is fine. I love a good shit your pants story.
for. Mm.
Right. So I've got a few in
Oh,
mind.
go on, because I can't remember the last time I shit myself. if I'm
I
honest.
shit myself just 2 weeks ago. Not physically.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the last time I shit myself was about 18 months ago.
In hospital.
Mate, no.
Oh.
I before I went in hospital,
Okay.
well after I'd come out the first time, and my bowel had just basically fucking
Thought, nah, fuck this.
fell into the depths of the earth,
I'm going, boys. See you
and
later.
I shat myself
Oh, nice.
in bed on me missus.
What? Amber Heard style.
That was grim, mate.
Oh.
I was really, really ill, mate.
Jesus
Really ill.
Christ.
I had to go back in hospital then for like another 3.5 weeks.
Is it like Mud Valley?
It was just grim. You see. It was like on like a cold January Sunday morning when it's been frosty on the pitch, but then the game's been going for about 20 minutes and it's
Yeah.
got churned up a little bit.
Oh.
And you go in for a big slide tackle, you win the ball, and then you get up and it's all like up the inside of your thigh. It was like that.
Oh, Jesus.
It was just like that, just smelled worse. But anyway,
Poor son.
that's the physical one. At least we can laugh about my horrendous fucking health.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Anyway, so 2 weeks ago, I was on my way to a gig to work. I was playing at a place near Crewe, a little nice restaurant. So I got my boy Joey in the car with me. Joey's 11 now. Oh, he's gone to high school, by the way.
Oh, is he?
He's loving it.
I'm going to say he's interesting.
He's loving it, mate. Loving it. Different story, but yeah, he's
Sorry.
doing well.
Sorry. This is what happens when you don't see each other for
Yeah,
a
yeah,
while.
yeah. He's
Other
gone-
stuff just sneaks
He's
in.
gone to high school now. He's absolutely loving it. But yeah, so I was going to meet his mother on the car park of the place I was playing because they only live about 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away. So me and Jerry minding our own business, having a little chat like. And we've got a great big massive car park. We pull onto the car park,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I get about 5 yards onto the car park, and this brand spanking new Ford Ranger in front of me
Mhm.
exploded 30 yards away from me.
Fucking
Just went
hell.
fucking bang! Right? Me and Joey, honestly, I did physically check my pants.
I'm going to say, I
right?
would have done the
checked
same.
when I got out the car. I give it a quick, like, one finger check.
Oh, prostate exam.
Fucking and Joey's sitting there like that, and it just spontaneously
Just
exploded
combust.
in front of us, mate. We couldn't have been more than 30 yards away. It was at like the far end of the car park as we pulled on. And it just went bang, brand new,
Fucking
brand new.
hell.
and fucking all the alarms go off, all the car alarms go off, the fire alarm goes off in the big restaurant, the big pub. Everyone comes piling out, mate. We were outside for 2.5 hours. The fire brigade set all the cars on. But I've got a video. I'll show you the video.
Fucking hell, man.
In fact, you viewers and listeners can go on to the Anger Management TikTok channel, and it's on there. I did do a quick
There we
TikTok
go.
video because I didn't rescue anyone or anything. I made a TikTok video while everything burnt down.
Hashtag hero.
So anyway, the fire brigade turned up and it set all the cars on fire.
Yeah,
And boy,
yeah.
it was just chaos, mate. And honestly, I have not shot my when it went bang, I've not shot
I
myself
bet
like
in
that.
your stomach as well, like that.
Well,
boom.
it fucking, because it come up through the ground, and I was
yeah.
like, fucking hell, the fucking Russians are attacking,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
there we go.
Shit myself.
Game
Proper
over.
shit myself. And yeah, that was grim, mate. That was a tough one,
So was the car moving or was it stationary? Or
Stationary, the guy was inside having a meal with his wife.
Was it
Brand new car, and it just fucking gone up, yeah. Just
Might be
boom.
not to buy a Range Rover.
No, it wasn't a Range Rover. It was a Ford Ranger.
Oh, Ford Ranger,
a
sorry.
pickup truck. A black one. Fucking, like, top of the range,
yeah,
all the
yeah.
bells and whistles. I don't know what had happened, mate. I don't know what had happened. Fire brigade put it all out and everything, but
Fucking hell.
it's fucking mad, mate. Proper shat me
Imagine
pants.
going to a restaurant to celebrate like you've just bought
You just
this.
bought a new car, you go for a nice
Bang.
meal. Fucking boom town, mate.
At least they weren't in it, though. I know it's...
Yeah,
I know we're
yeah.
laughing
To be
joke, but
fair, the
fucking
bloke
hell,
wasn't really phased. He was just like, it's
One of them,
insured. Yeah, but it was like proper shat myself, and Joey shat himself as well.
Oh,
Metaphorically shat, by the way. Meta shat.
Meta shat.
Meta shat.
That's the new Facebook tag.
It's been a while since I've shit myself. In like a one moment shit myself.
Yeah.
I've had a couple in my life. The 2 times I've got 2 stories. The most I've ever shit myself. One of them is quite a gruesome tale.
Go
Quite
for
a
it.
harrowing
Fuck it.
tale.
Why not?
Okay, so
Strap yourself in.
when I was 17, I got invited last minute on a stag do. It was my friend Gaz, my best friend Gaz. It was a guy he worked with at the time, an old bloke older than us. We were both 17, and they were going to Blackpool for this stag do. And basically, there's a couple of blokes who cried off last minute, and Gaz rang me and said, "Do you want to come?" It's a Friday night, 1997. I was like, "Yeah, sound okay. I've got a tenner."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Free bus. So I got my old dear or my dad or someone dropped me off up in Longton. Got on this bus with 50 blokes I've never met my entire life, all like rough arse working blokes, you know what I mean?
Hey, boys, you all right?
All right, lads.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a new one. And they were all dead sound. Anyway, I had 2 cans of beer on the coach, right?
Okay.
We got dropped off at Blackpool front, and we went down into the beer cellar. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't been to Blackpool in 20-odd years, apart from work. And you go down like some stairs into this basement thing. And me and Gaz bought this big pitcher of ale. It's like 6 pints or something in this big thing, and we just share it out. And we drank probably a pint's worth each, and then went the bog. Me and Gaz both went the bog. Come back, had another half a pint. Right, so I had 2 cans and a pint and a half. Right? It's 17 when you can drink, you know what I mean? When it doesn't fucking kill you like it does now. Sitting there, literally been in this place 20 minutes, Liam. And Gaz turns to me and says, feeling a bit funny, I am, you, so I'm going to go get some fresh air. And I turns to Gaz and I says, I am as well. I'll come with you. I'll come upstairs. So we went out onto Blackpool front, where the railings are. Mate, by the time I got up the stairs and the fresh air hit me, fucking hell, Liam, I couldn't see. Like, I couldn't see. I couldn't see where I was going. I couldn't feel anything proper. Mate, within 5 minutes of being outside, up on the front, I didn't know what was going on. I could see Gaz swaying around. I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? And Gaz was like, no, oh, I can't deal with this. And Gaz ran off. Just ran off up Blackpool front. It's packed. It's 8:30 at night on a Friday. No, on a Saturday night. And he runs off, and I try to stagger after him a bit, get a couple of streets on, and I've lost him. And I'm like, mate, fucking, by this point, I'm like, I can hardly move. The next thing I remember, Liam, is opening my eyes, and I was underneath a parked car in someone's driveway, sheltering from the torrential rain. And it was, I don't know, I looked at my watch, this is before mobile phones, and I think it was 2:00 in the morning, right? I don't know what had happened, where I'd gone,
where you'd been,
where
or how
I'd
you got
been.
there.
I just remember I was freezing cold in a short sleeve shirt, and the water was running down this driveway and running into me while I was underneath this car. And I was like, fuck, and I couldn't like move properly. I don't know how to describe it, mate. I couldn't like get my faculties or anything. And I staggered from under this car and I walked down this street. And I remember seeing a phone box. And I went in the phone box and I made, it was 10p on the floor. and I made a 10p call and rang my mum. And I couldn't speak properly or anything. I was like, I need you to come fetch me. I need you. And my mum's like, where are you? Where are you? Like, Hanley. I was like, no, Blackpool. My mum's like, I can't fetch you. I've had half a bottle of wine or whatever it was. And I remember my mum saying, stand by Blackpool Tower at 8 o'clock and I'll pick you up from there.
Yeah.
Mate, the next, I must have just slouched down in the phone box because it was thrashing it down with rain.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 hours later, I'm woke up by a knock on the fucking phone box.
Yeah.
There's this bloke. You all right, mate? Like, and he's like, you okay? You sure you're okay? What's happened? Have you been beat up or something? I'm like, I couldn't get my words out to him. Like, anyway, he fucking opened the door as far as picks me up. He fucking he's trying and get through to me, like try and speak to me, and I can't make sense of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So he picks me up. He carries me about 30, 40 yards down the street to his car. And he sticks me in the passenger seat of his car, puts the heaters on, because I'm like this, mate, fucking shivering like this. Puts the heaters on, puts a fucking jacket over me. And he says to me, like, where are you from? What, and I can't get through to him what's going on at all, mate. I couldn't speak. And he says I live like just a couple of miles down the road.
Yeah.
He says, I'm gonna take you back to mine, get you sorted. So I go back to this bloke. I can't move, mate, but I'm like fucking hell, good Samaritan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back to this bloke's house. He's dead fucking sound, mate. I remember he had chef's gear, like, the black and white checkers.
Oh, yeah.
So I assumed he'd been working somewhere late, you know what I mean? Go in this bloke's house, gives me a fucking towel.
Yeah.
Fucking, I put this towel over me so I get me. He says, you just sit down. He says, just sit down, lie down and sit down on the settee. He says, you'll be okay. And he says, and I says to him, I've got managed to get through to him that I've got to get back there in the morning.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm on shift in the morning. I'll give you a lift. Get your head down and go sleep. You'll be all right. So I fucking fall asleep on this settee, mate, like propped up on the settee like that I was. I'm like, fucking hell, what a bloke, fucking good Samaritan. Like, fucking bang, I'm fucking gone. Anyway, what, maybe half an hour later, mate, fucking open my eyes like here. And he's got his kegs round his ankles. And he's fucking feeling me fucking leg up like this.
No, man.
Cracking one out, right? Yeah. And I fucking jumped up. Liam. I was like, what the fuck? I'm still fucked. I'm still completely fucked. I don't know what's going on, mate. Fucking jump up like this. I'm like, what the fuck? And I run for the door. I can see like the fucking door in this apartment thing. I run for the door. He fucking stands in front of me, Liam. He's only like my height. But he's, pretty big built bloke. He stands in front of me, and I'm always remembering it. Where do you think you're going?
Mate.
And Liam, it's the only time I've ever done this. You know me. I'm not a fighter, not a scrap at all.
Yeah.
I headbutted him as hard as I fucking could.
Yeah.
I'd bossed his nose all across his fucking face, right? Never headbutted anyone before or since, apart from like accidentally at football and stuff. Right? I fucking chinned him like that, bang. And he went down in a big heap, and I fucking opened the door, and I just ran down the fucking street. It was just coming light, so I don't know, mate, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But I'm fucked. And I've got me going out gear, me fucking nice shoes on, and I'm like fucking hammering down the road. And I ran for about half a mile, and then I could see Blackpool Tower, probably 2.5, 3 mile away. And I ran all the way to Blackpool Tower, mate. Yeah. And there was a little cafe just round the corner, and they let me sit in. They gave me a cup of tea and let me sit in there till 8 o'clock, and my mum picked me. Now, anyway, I got back by 8 o'clock in the morning. Felt fine. Felt absolutely fine.
What?
So anyway,
this
is the end of the story. Yeah. So I get back. It's Sunday morning. I got footy training. I'm 17. I've just started playing men's football, and Gaz plays for the same team. So I get home, I get me fucking footy stuff, and go to walk across to the rec where we train. I go to the shop, get a drink, and Gaz is in there, and Gaz's dad had to come and pick him up.
All right, okay.
And I says, what the fuck's going on? And Gaz is like, I feel fine. I says, but I've never experienced anything like it. He says, I woke up in a bus station, curled up on a bench in a bus station.
Fucking hell.
And do you know what we reckon happened?
Drugged.
We reckon that this bloke put, it's Rehypnol into it, or whatever they call it, like the date rape stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
We reckon that he put that in our pitcher of ale. And Gaz and I obviously drank from the same pitcher.
Ah, I see.
We went upstairs, and when Gaz ran off, we reckon the bloke was watching us
throughout the entire time.
He couldn't follow both of us.
So he
had to make a choice between, does he like fucking muscly curly haired lads, or does he like skinny blonde haired lads? And he picked me, and we reckon that he just waited and waited and waited, followed me. And then that was his fucking...
Like a fucking predator.
That was his moment.
Liam,
that's the most scared I've ever been.
That's
the most scared I've ever been, mate. And that's
a
true story. You can ask Gaz about that. He'll validate that. I fucking shat myself, mate. It was horrible.
So do you think it was... So the guy that took you back to was he... Do you think he worked in the bar then?
Yeah, I think he might have been an employee there, or...
Yeah.
Or maybe just finished at a restaurant and called in for a pint, or you know what I mean?
Hey, that's scary. I'm scared. I'm scared for you.
I was 17, mate. I wasn't worldly wise or anything. I was 17. It was fucking scary, mate. When my mum picked me up, she was like, and I told my mum wanted to go to the police and everything, and I was just like, oh fuck shit, the police will do nothing.
Could you know? Could you remember where
the police will probably do me for being in a bar underage.
Yeah.
That's what the police will do.
So did they not take you? So could you not remember a few days later after it had all happened?
I can't. I remember everything from him tapping on the phone box. It's hazy, but I remember it. But I can't remember anything from Gaz running off up the street to waking up under that car, which was 5 hours later, Liam.
So anything could have happened.
Anything could have. I have absolutely no clue. I'd got no money left as well. My money had all gone.
Yeah.
I hadn't that much money, maybe 30 quid.
Yeah.
But it had all gone. And I'd only, as far as I was aware, I'd only spent like a £5 with Gaz on this pitcher of ale. So my money had all gone somewhere. I had nothing. I had nothing at all, mate. Even my jacket was gone. I only had my shirt on. Fuck knows.
Hey, honestly, that's been next stand up.
I shit myself.
That is like some horror film.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Like Jeffrey Dahmer.
You think if I hadn't have nutted him,
what could have happened?
Or if he'd have managed to like grab me first or something like that, what would? And I was only a slightly built little youth, mate. I wasn't like a fighter or anything.
I mean, fair enough. Like he's done that.
I don't know if he chased me or what. He could have been right behind me.
But what if he tried cutting you or stabbing you while you're passed out from this drug?
Yeah.
Fucking
hell. What
mate.
if I hadn't woke up at that moment?
Exactly. What could have happened? Mate, that's fucking...
Ain't it?
That's dark.
Ain't it? It's a dark story.
That is scary.
I'll tell you my other one, which is a funny one.
Right, well, we'll go back
We'll lighten the mood with this one. I don't know
Jesus.
if I've told this story on the podcast before. I might have done, but it was me and my dad. We were in Greece on holiday with my family. I would have been about 7 or 8 at the time.
So.
And we'd gone to Greece on holiday, and we were in a place called Naflion. And they'd recently done some new excavation of the castle, like thousands of year old castle in Naflion. And they'd excavated this big, like this, I say big tunnel, really long tunnel, about half a mile long, but short, just above head height.
Yeah.
And me and my dad were like, ooh, we walked down there, and it ran parallel to the road and the pavement all the way down, right? So me and my dad are thinking, we'll just walk, down there, we'll get down there. So we climb up this rock face thing about 10 foot up, with my mum going, oh, you two just stop it. Just walk down here with me and your sister.
Be
Like,
sensible.
no, we've got to go. There's a tunnel there. We've got to walk down it.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? You can't not walk
Sense
down a
adventure,
tunnel.
like, yeah.
So we set off down this tunnel. We got about 50 yards down, and very quickly it became apparent that this tunnel was fucking pitch black, Liam. I mean, to the point where you could not see
Your hand in
anything.
front of your face.
You
like.
couldn't see anything in front of you at all. It was completely dark. So my dad's in front, and I'm three yards behind him and whatever. And I'm 7 years old, so I started crapping myself at this point, as you can imagine. Proper glad as fuck that my dad's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like.
So we get it must be a couple of 100 yards into this tunnel, Liam, right? We're walking down and I'm going, Dad, it's a bit scary in here. And my dad's going, oh, you'll be all right, son, you'll be all right. You know what dads are like. You'll be all right. Don't worry. And he gives it a couple of oohs. My dad does. I'm like, no, don't. We go a little bit further. And my dad hears, I'm like, Dad, just stop it. My dad stops in front of me and I bang into the back of him. And my dad goes, what? I went, don't make that noise. My dad went, I didn't make that noise. And I went, what? Right?
Okay.
Pitch black,
Yeah.
Fucking black. I can't see a fucking thing. I can feel my dad like half a foot in front. And my dad's stopped and he's gone, like his body's gone taut like it.
Oh, fuck.
Right? And we look in front, mate, and all I see is these two fucking eyes just go and rise up like that about fucking 4 feet in the air in front of me, right? And I'm like, what the? And we just hear like that. And I just remember my dad going, run. And I just fucking shit it and ran as fast as I could up this tunnel, mate. My dad must have given me like 2 seconds start, and I hear my dad come fucking thundering after me, and then all we can hear is this fucking big like that. I fucking get to the end of this 10-foot precipice that goes out into the middle of the road, dive out in front of all these cars, mate. Fucking cars swerving about everywhere. My dad comes piling out after me across this car bonnet. Fucking shit, mate. Honestly, I've never shit myself like ever, Liam. I remember it now like it was yesterday, right? And my mum and my sister are, 150 yards down the road waiting for us, right? 200 yards down, and we go running. And my mum's like, what's going on? We're like, and we don't know what to say because we're like,
What were it?
So anyway, we
okay.
spoke to some of the locals. Well, I was convinced it was some kind of fucking ancient Greek spirit. I was 7, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The locals reckoned that a bear had come down out of the mountains, had its young in there in the tunnel, and we'd disturbed it with its brand new offspring.
Fuck.
And it had gone for us. Yeah, that's what we spoke about. 3-4 different local people told us that could well be what it was.
Mate, that's fucking
shit my pants.
Absolutely.
A different kind of shit in my pants than nearly getting molested by a pervert in Blackpool, but equally as scary, mate.
Yeah, I'm fucking hell.
Honestly, mate. Honestly.
Jesus Christ. Like, the life you've lived. Fucking hell, mate.
It's mad. It's mad.
That is crazy. There's nothing I could say that could top that.
No.
At all.
Them two are good ones,
Absolutely
mate.
nothing. Honestly, there's nothing I could say that could top that.
Shit myself.
At all.
My dad shit himself as well. If my dad ever comes on the podcast, if we ever do that dad's special we've been on about,
absolutely.
we'll ask my dad and he'll verify that one, mate. Fucking hell. Absolutely shit myself. Liam, it's time for our favourite segment.
Come on, give it to me.
Weekly a woke watch. We need a jingle, really.
We do, honestly.
Watch,
we do.
There's a lot to discuss, really, on the old woke front in recent times. Like we say, it's been 6 months, so there's been. I feel that it's started to dissipate slightly, Liam.
Yeah.
There doesn't. Maybe it's because I've just completely stopped listening to and watching mainstream media.
Yeah.
I've ditched the BBC and Sky and all the rest of them now. It's such absolute fucking horse shit all the time that I just don't bother. So I haven't noticed as much woke bollocks. We talked about Russell Brand earlier, but that's more the establishment cancelling rather than the woke watch. The one I wanted to touch on was the I can't remember the name of this person, but it's basically a 6-foot bloke
Yeah.
who can bowl at 85 mile an hour, who's been picked to represent the Canadian women's cricket team at the World Cup, right?
Of course, yes.
And you know how much this one gets on my fucking tits, Liam, when men pretend they're women and then take part in women's sport, right? And I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it a million times on this podcast, right? I don't give a fuck how any of you guys want to live your lives. But if you start pretending you're a fucking woman when you're a man and playing sport, right, you still need to compete in the men's category.
Yeah.
Because that's what you are, right?
Yep.
If you go and compete in the women's category, you're a complete and utter cunt of the highest order.
Yep.
You're endangering women's lives, for a start, number one.
Yep.
And you're a cheat.
Yep.
You're a complete and utter cheat, and there is no dressing it up.
And
you are a fucking dirty, cheating
you're
bastard.
setting women's sports back at least 50 years.
Absolutely, Liam, and we're proponents of women's sport and have been for a long time, right?
Yep.
And I know we take the piss out of it sometimes, but we take the piss out of everything sometimes. Just like South Park.
That's just how this
right?
podcast works.
But women's sport has become better and better and better over the years, right? And what is happening in a lot of women's sports where they're letting men compete in them is just setting them back. All the fucking hard work that's been done to make different women's sports respectable, right? When you let men play in it, you're just fucking making yourselves into a laughing stock, right? The governing bodies of women's sport need to simply go, no. This isn't fucking happening.
This isn't for you, mate. Like,
this isn't happening.
Yeah.
Liam, tell us about the little point that you made to me earlier about we used to discuss this on the radio all the time.
Yes.
Tell our listeners what our idea was, what our plan was, and then tell us what the transgender community have done now that has become a genuine thing.
Yes. So obviously for years on the sports show, Andy, we obviously again big,
We believe that everybody should have an opportunity to play sport. It's that simple.
Yeah, regardless of your sex, your
gay,
gender, your
straight, trans,
ethnicity,
we don't care.
whatever,
you should be able to play sport.
Yeah, completely. And that's one thing that we've been very passionate about and still to this day are very passionate about.
Very much so.
So, like you say, you've got your sports, you've got your male and female categories, you've got your Paralympic categories, the male and female.
Yeah.
And then one thing we've always said for many years is, why don't transgender athletes have their own Olympics or have their own categories?
Just have their own categories
right?
in whatever sport
and
it is that they want to play.
So whether you're a man that's now a woman or vice versa or whatever you want to identify as.
So if you I don't know, you want to play at Wimbledon and you're a transgender man, then you play in that category.
Yeah.
Just like if you're a 14-year-old, you play in the boys' competition. You don't play in the men's competition, right? And no matter how many, if Novak Djokovic says, I identify as a 12-year-old boy, the sporting body goes, but you're not a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So you've got to play in the men's category, Novak.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because you'll just hammer everybody otherwise.
So this new category, which has been brought in as of this month.
Which sport, Liam?
I think it was swimming. I believe it was.
Okay.
And they introduced a open category, which is basically anyone who is anyone, regardless of gender, ethnicity, race, sexual preference, whatever.
You
right?
can compete in that.
You can compete.
Yep.
And they.
So let me ask you. I assume thousands upon thousands of transgender athletes signed up for this straight away.
You know what, Andy? I thought that as well. But guess how many swimmers turned up to this? Anyone can compete. Anyone,
fairly
right?
in a fair
competition.
Okay.
Guess how many?
I'm not sure, Liam. You tell me. I feel it's going to be quite low.
You'd be surprised, Andy. But it's zero.
Zero people. There we go.
Absolutely no one turned up for it because.
So what we're saying is those transgender athletes who are pretending that they're women only want to compete in the women's category. And why would that be, do you think, Liam? Is it because they'll win all the time, maybe?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Cheating fucking cunts.
Absolutely.
I've got no other way of saying it. I just haven't.
But how do you sleep at night? How do they sleep at night, Andy? That's what gets me. And like we've seen it before, like, you know, Marines or SAS, you know, that are now women getting into cage fighting, beating shit out of women.
Beating up women.
And it's like, so you're legally abusing a woman.
These people, again, I have to reiterate this because we have had plenty of fucking grief given to us over the transphobe. I couldn't be anything further than
No,
transphobe.
not at all.
I'm a couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
that's
much.
what I am.
You are what you are.
Couldn't give a fuck. Live your life however you want.
Exactly.
But the line comes when you're endangering people and you're cheating.
Yep.
Right? Those two things can't be allowed to happen. And I believe, so it was Leah Thomas, wasn't it,
Yes,
in swimming?
the swimmer,
right?
yeah.
I truly believe that not only should that person be derided for what they did to those female athletes, those female swimmers, I think that fucker should be in jail for what he did. And I'll freely put it out there. Not just, oh, that wasn't very nice. No, you should be in jail. Send that cunt to jail for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? Because what you were doing is cheating women out of a place and out of the competitive side of their sport there. So going back to what I was saying about the cricketer, so what you have to remember is not only is that incredibly dangerous, that person can bowl at 15 mile an hour faster than a woman can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he comes charging into bowl, and a woman whose fastest delivery she's ever faced is 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And he's bowling it at 85 miles an hour. She's never faced that in her life. So what happens? He bowls a short one, it pitches up and smashes her straight in the tits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking bollocks, absolute. But it's making an absolute mockery of cricket, right? And I fucking hate it. And that cunt should be in jail. Never mind given an opportunity. You got to think as well, Liam, right? There's some poor girl there who spent her entire life training to make that fucking World Cup squad for Canada, right? Training and dedicating her life and all the sacrifices, all the sacrifices that have been made by her and her family to make her as good as she can possibly be, and she's on the cusp of the team. Oh yeah, we haven't picked you. We've picked this man instead. We've picked this dude instead of you.
Yeah.
Right? This bloke who wouldn't have been in the top 5,000 cricketers in Canada.
No.
Right? But he's good enough to be in the best 11 women cricketers. Right? It's a fucking travesty.
It is.
And people can say whatever they fucking want to me. Honestly, these cunts should be in fucking jail for what they do to women's sport.
It's disgusting because
why is it never the other way around, Liam? Why don't these transgender people become fucking men and then compete in the men's category? Because they would be absolutely rinsed. That's fucking why.
And I think it's what was it? I think it's something I saw that the women's fastest 100-meter hurdler is X amount of seconds, right? But if you put her, she's number one in the world.
Well, she'd be last
in all records, right? If you put her time against the men's records, you know it should be 4,000.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
it's ridiculous. And what they're trying to do now is this whole, well, if you've had this treatment or that treatment or you've had this testosterone. No. If you were born as a fucking man, right, you're a fucking man.
Race.
And again, live as a woman. I'll call you a fucking
whatever
woman.
You want,
I'll call you whatever you want, and I'll treat you however you want to be treated. If that's how you want to live your life, I can't give a fuck. It makes no odds to me whatsoever. You want me to call you a fucking giraffe? That's what I'll call it. It's fine. I don't care. But what you're not going to do is fucking knock my little girl out of the team that she's trying to get on, for example, or my wife, or my mum, or whatever it may be. Actual, genuine women, right?
I'll call you a transphobe because you don't agree.
Because I don't agree. Oh, you're a transphobe. Oh, fuck off.
No, we've all got opinions. You know what I mean? It's like we've all got our own beliefs. If we all believe the same thing,
well, it's like I just said about I just used Novak Djokovic playing in the boy. Just because you say you're something doesn't mean you are something. That's not how it works at all. You know what I mean?
If I identified as a billionaire, it doesn't make me a fucking billionaire.
Well, here's one for you, Liam. If I say, Liam, I'm a black man.
Okay.
A black man I am. And I said to you listeners and you viewers, I'm a black guy. You fuckers would say, That's really offensive, man, because you're not a black guy at all. You're a white
How
bloke.
dare they say that you're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a black man?
How dare you? How
How
fuck,
racist.
How Greta Thunderbird in it now. How dare you?
How dare
I'm
you?
a black man, right? No, Steve-O, you're not a black
No.
man, right? You're really not. You can pretend you're, right? And if you really want us to call you a black man, we'll call you a black man, right?
Yeah.
But you're not a black man, right? So I ask you, why is it any different? Why's gender and fucking
Exactly, yeah.
and
Why is
race
it
any
two different?
of it's
Yeah.
not because stating you're something that you aren't is bullshit, right?
And no amount of paperwork or writing
Course
it
it won't.
down or saying it to people is going to change
Course
that.
it
I'm
won't.
sorry, but
But again, I'll say if you want to live your life in any way, shape, or form, you crack on with it. That's absolutely fine. But when it comes to sport, it's wrong, and these fuckers should be in jail for it.
And just coming back to my point, Andy, before we move on as well. So, like we were saying about the women's, she's number one, and she's 4,000th in men. But if I switch the roles around, and the men wanted to race in the women's 100 meters, the women biologically will never ever have a chance to compete or be anywhere
well, it's
near.
pointless. They might as well not bother.
Exactly.
Might as well just not bother with
If
women's
Usain
sport if we're
Bolt
going to do
decided
that.
to put a wig on tomorrow and say, I'm Usain Bolt, you know, you'd be like, oh, right.
That powerlifting record is held by, again, Canadian man, right? The women's powerlifting record. And it's something ludicrous, like 120 pounds clear of the woman who's second place.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Because men can lift shitloads more than women. I'm not saying that makes men better.
No.
It just makes them better at lifting weights,
Yeah,
right?
it's biology.
That's it's just biology. That's how it is. And that's not to say that women's powerlifting is terrible.
No,
it's
not
not.
saying that.
But it's women's powerlifting, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it should be.
So
Women's
men's powerlifting and women's powerlifting.
There we
That's
go.
how it should be. Or Paralympic powerlifting or trans powerlifting or whatever. And like just coming back to a point earlier, Andy, like obviously no one turned up for this swimming trial,
Shocked,
whatever.
mate. Shocked.
But to me, if it's that big a deal, if it's that big a thing and everyone's for it and everyone wants to get it, create your own tournament then. Create your own competition.
The problem you've got, Liam, and we used to say this on the radio, is you create your own competition or you create your own categories. The problem is most people don't give a fuck about it, right? And again,
Exactly.
it's just a social media invention
Yeah.
that people around the world are outraged by any of it because they're not. 99.9999% of the world's population don't give a fuck.
No.
Right? They
not
just
all.
simply don't care if someone's gay, if someone's trans. They don't fucking care. And they're not going to pay money to watch trans sport, for example. They're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And no matter how much we're told time and time again that the population of Britain is up in arms and they're outraged about. No, they're not. They don't care.
At all.
Don't care. Social media does. Social media cares because it generates clicks.
Yeah.
Right.
And
but it's bullshit. It's not real life or anything. Honestly, guys, social media isn't real life.
Just go outside.
Go out, climb some trees. My dad
There we
always
go.
used to say.
Obviously, listen to this podcast and then go outside, or take us with you.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
You can listen to us wherever
That's
you want.
it. Climb some fucking trees, Liam. It's nearly time to pack it in. I wanted to very quickly touch on Mental Health Day.
Yes.
We've tried to over the years. We've on the radio as well. We've tried to offer support, particularly for men and mental health, but obviously women as well. We we don't really have much expertise because we're not women.
Or if you identify as a giraffe.
Yeah, whatever it is. But we've always been big on the old mental health. We don't mind admitting, Liam and I have had some struggles over the years with different things, particularly the whole COVID thing nearly fucking put me in the ground, I tell you. And Liam, you had a bit of an episode a while back, and we've been there, as it were.
Even still now, mate, to be honest with you, like I say, I think because obviously having kids, your life has just gone completely upside down.
Yeah.
And it's scary, man. You've got to adjust to life, and you're stressing about all things. So, like, you worrying again, like we were touching on earlier in the podcast, was you're worrying about paying the bills, you're worrying about food in the fridge, you're worrying about keeping a roof over your head. Are your kids healthy? Are they happy? Could I be doing more as a dad? Could I be doing more as a person? And it's all these things that you stress and worry about.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's hard.
Life's
life,
hard, mate.
Life is difficult, but like you have to take a point where you take a step back, take a breath, and think, "This is where I am now.
Yeah.
This is what I have to do," and your life just completely changes. And I'll be honest with you, mate, it's been worst year in my life this year.
Really?
Apart from birth of my children, it's been difficult.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, like I've not been myself for the last 10 months. I'm
Not enough podcasting.
There we go. I'm missing out, boys, and like I'm now on, and I don't
drugs.
mind. I am actually, funnily enough. I'm not. I'm not ashamed to say it, but I'm on antidepressants. But that's my choice. That's because.
See, I'd have advised you against that.
I know.
Fresh air is what you need.
And it's just been hard though, mate, and it's just been difficult. But we do have a laugh on this podcast. We do have a joke, and we'll fuck out here, and we'll have a laugh, and we'll cheer you up. And if we have sat here tonight and we've cheered you up, and you're listening to this podcast, and it's brought a smile to your face, we've done our job. We've done our job at all. But and all we want is just for people to reach out to your friends, your family, your colleagues, your professional services. Whoever it is.
We've said time and time again, and we have been contacted over the years by people, and we're just here to try and not offer advice, but try and, because we don't know what we're talking about. We're not fucking. We're not psychiatrists. We're just normal blokes who, like most people who will be listening to this podcast, have made some shit decisions and been fucking down sometimes, and also been up sometimes, and. If you've got a problem and you're struggling with anything at the moment, you can get in touch with us. Liam will shortly tell you where. And ask us a question, give us a comment, whether you agree or disagree with any of the stuff that we talk about. We appreciate any kind of correspondence from you lot. Yeah. And sometimes that little message can make all the fucking difference.
Of course, man.
It really can.
And like you've just said, Andy, you've hit nail on the head. Like, don't suffer in silence. I wouldn't want anyone to suffer in silence. Anyone. At all, even you listening to this podcast. So just reach out, whether that's to us or someone else.
Be fully prepared for us to take the piss out of you.
Yeah, we'll have a
That's how we roll.
We'll cheer you up.
Yeah?
I'm sure
we won't. We won't mollycoddle. We won't mollycoddle you in the slightest bit. We'll call you a twat, right? Tell you cheer up.
And then we'll listen to podcasts together.
This is what we do. Anyone who does want to get in touch, Liam, where can they get hold of us?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, Anger Management Studios, or you can find us on Twitter at Anger Management Pod. But yeah, honestly, guys, girls, ladies, dudettes,
giraffes,
whatever you identify as, send us a message. By all means, like, we will laugh, we will have fun with you. But by all means, if it helps,
especially if you're ginger, we'll have lots of fun with you.
Fat or thin. What was it earlier?
Anyway, just before we go, we back on April the 14th, was it, Liam? 16th. We had our most recent Graham poll.
God, it seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, saying recent and like 6.5 months ago isn't so good, is it? Really?
Wow.
Liam, tell us what the Graham poll was and what the result was, mate.
So we were asking the question, this is how long ago it was.
Go on.
Are you a summer person or a winter person?
Do you know what? Let me just speak about that first before we go.
Okay, go on.
As I said on the last podcast, I've always been a summer person. I do not like winter at all. I don't like the dark nights, don't like the cold and the rain, etc., etc. I found myself looking forward to it.
You're not going to say what
going a little bit colder this year. In September, those of you around the world won't understand this, but it's been extraordinarily weird weather in Britain this year.
It has, yeah.
So we had 3 amazing weeks in May. If you remember,
it
was gloriously warm, like late spring, absolutely amazing. I went to Ireland with the missus, and it was the best weather I've ever seen. I was swimming in the Atlantic Ocean every day.
Don't blame me.
In May.
Don't blame me.
Right, it was glorious. I came home. And the day after I came home, it rained for 4.5 months.
Yeah.
It never stopped fucking pissing it down for 4.5 months, right? To the point where the farm, where my friend's farm, where I spend a lot of my time, we actually had to keep our cows in the sheds in the middle of August, right? Because the fields were that waterlogged.
Waterlogged, yeah.
So we had wheat in the fields. We had 120 70 odd acres of wheat to get in, which would normally be done in June. Do you know when we got it in? The end of September.
Fucking fire.
That's how wet it was, mate.
Ridiculous.
But the crazy thing, when we got that wheat in, was the crazy week of insane tropical Florida weather we had.
And it were like, what's going on?
I think it was the third week of September, and it was 100 degrees, and we were all sweating our bags off. I've never seen anything like it, mate. And I have to admit, it's the only time ever that I was ready for it to be over, and I wanted it to go a bit cooler. So I am a summer person.
Okay.
But for the first time, I've been looking forward a little bit more to the winter time, Liam.
So
what were the results, pal?
83% of our listeners, so it's a big win, are summer people.
Summer people.
With 17% are winter people.
Mm.
And what is this week's Graham poll, Andy?
This week's Graham poll is quite simply young versus old. Right? Context, Liam.
No.
Context me up, mate.
Oh, sorry. Let me remember this.
Right.
So, obviously, your younger days or your older days?
Yeah, we're basically asking you, no matter what age you are now, whether you're 21 or you're 71,
74.
We're trying to ask, do you prefer the age that you are now, so older, or do you prefer yesteryear, whenever that may be?
Okay.
When you were a child, when you were a teenager, if you're an older person in your 70s or something, did you prefer it when you were in your 40s, like I am now?
There we go.
So it's quite simple, really. Young or old.
The 80s were a good time, so I've heard.
The 80s were good, mate, yeah. Transformers, Thundercats, we've been there. You know how it is. Anyway, it's been an emotional roller coaster.
It's good to be back.
Back here on the Anger Management Podcast, Season 3, Episode 4. Hopefully, we'll be back relatively soon.
Yeah,
I think
crossed.
Liam needs the time away.
I do. I need the break.
So he needs the break. So we're going to try and get... We've only got 2 more episodes after this for this series, and then the Christmas special.
Oh, there we go.
So I'm sure we'll be able to get Season 3 wrapped up before the year's out, Liam.
We'll sort it.
So, thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you very much,
thanks
guys.
for tuning in. Vote
Cheers.
on the Graham poll if you can, and we will hopefully catch you again in the very near future, and not fucking
Hopefully
28,000 years.
Like, we apologise, it's been a long time, but life gets in the way sometimes.
Thanks, guys. We'll check you later.
No worries. See you later.
Look after yourselves.